The ocean is an incredibly huge place that covers over 71% of our world's surface. And although humans have only mapped and observed a mere 20% of it, we've still managed to discover some pretty mind-boggling things. From underwater ruins and museums to a creepy mummified body of a German sailor, here are 15 weird objects found in the deepest parts of the ocean that will leave you in awe, shock, or maybe both. And trust us, it's not some doddle-poodle list. Let's start off with number 15, doomed emeralds. What would you do if you found $80 million worth of emeralds at the bottom of the ocean? Well, your answer is retire early and buy a private island. Well, Jay Miskovich's story will make you think twice or maybe thrice. In 2010, Miskovich, a Floridan amateur treasure hunter, bought a mystery map from a random guy at a bar, because obviously, that's how all great treasure hunts start. Following the clues, he dived into the Gulf of Mexico and hit the mother lode, over 80 pounds of emeralds, scattered across the seafloor like pirate loot. But instead of fame and fortune, Miskovich got legal nightmares and government suspicion. With the authorities questioning the emerald's dubious origins, he faced a federal investigation and mounting financial pressure. In 2013, unable to cash in on his treasure and drowning in stress, Miskovich tragically took his own life. Moral of the story? Maybe not every treasure is meant to be found. Number 14. Jurassic microbes. What's older than dinosaurs, survived multiple mass extinctions, and is still technically alive? Jurassic microbes. Well, yup, you heard that right. Scientists in 2012 discovered microscopic organisms in the deep sea floor that have been chilling for 86 million years. These tiny survivors were found in oxygen-starved sediments, barely clinging to life with almost no food or energy for nearly 100 million years. It's the biological equivalent of a phone battery stuck at 1% for eternity. Somehow they're still kicking, or at least kind of kicking. These microbes hold clues to how life can survive in extreme environments, possibly even on other planets. If alien life exists, it probably looks a lot like these tiny ancient badasses, proving that life, no matter how small, always finds a way. Just imagine when dinosaurs like T-Rex were running for their lives, these microbes were just minding their own business, waiting for the day they'll be found and make headlines. Number 13. Lost silver of the Third Reich. In 1941, a British cargo ship, the SS Geiersoppa, was torpedoed by a Nazi U-boat, sinking nearly 300 miles off the Irish coast. For decades, it was thought to be lost forever, until 2012, when deep-sea explorers struck silver. A team from Odyssey Marine Exploration discovered the wreck, hauling up a record-breaking 61 tons of silver, worth a staggering $36 million. That's enough to make even the Blackbeard of hedge fund managers jealous. The haul was only 20% of what was believed to be on board, meaning over 240 tons of Nazi-era silver could still be sitting at the ocean's bottom, waiting for the next lucky treasure hunter. But before you grab your scuba gear, just remember, lost Nazi treasure tends to come with a curse, or at least a whole lot of legal red tape. So, maybe stick to finding your fortune in a less historically controversial way. Number 12. A 900-year-old Crusader sword. Shlomi Katzin wasn't expecting to make headlines when he went for a dive off the coast of Atlit, Israel. But there it was, a 900-year-old iron sword lying on the seabed, waiting for someone to find it. Caked in marine growth but still unmistakably a weapon, the 3-foot blade and 2-foot hilt hinted at a time when crusaders clashed with Muslim warriors for control of the Holy Land. Historians believe the sword belonged to a crusader knight, possibly lost in battle or abandoned when a ship went down. The area has been a maritime highway for centuries, with ships coming and going, sometimes never making it back to shore. Shifting sands and powerful currents kept the sword hidden for nearly a millennium. Now in the hands of the Israel Antiquities Authority, it's a direct link to an era of war, faith, and exploration. Who carried it? What battles did it see? The ocean isn't answering, but the mystery makes it all the more legendary. Number 11. The undersea river in the Black Sea. A river at the bottom of the ocean sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but in 2016, scientists exploring the Black Sea found exactly that. Not a trick of currents or a passing phenomenon. A full-fledged river, complete with rapids, waterfalls, and canyon walls carved deep into the seafloor. This underwater river is 350 times bigger than the Thames, a relentless current moving through the deep. It exists because of its heavier, saltier water, which refuses to mix with the rest of the sea, instead carving its own path like a rogue force of nature. If ancient mythology is anything to go by, this might just be our real-life river Styx, the kind of place lost civilizations whispered about. No boat could ever sail it, no person could ever drink from it, and yet there it is, flowing through the abyss, untouched and unseen for thousands of years. Number 10. Trucks that took a dive. Of all the things you'd expect to find at the bottom of the ocean, a massive six-wheeler truck probably isn't on your list. But somehow, there it is, resting on the seabed like it took a wrong turn straight into Atlantis. Trucks and other heavy-duty vehicles don't just drive themselves into the ocean. Most of them end up there after cargo ships sink, sending their loads straight to the deep. Some get pulled back up, salvaged for parts or history's sake. But this one? Well, it's just chilling down there, weirdly intact, like it's waiting for someone to drive it straight out of the abyss. Nature, of course, has claimed it as its own. Coral, barnacles, and marine life have made it their personal playground. So if you ever see a truck-shaped reef on a deep-sea dive, just know, somewhere, there's a logistics company still waiting on that delivery. Number 9. Ancient sculptures underwater. The Moai statues on Easter Island get all the fame, but they're not the only ones keeping an eye on the ocean. Off the coast of Cancun, Mexico, divers have discovered an entire underwater sculpture park, featuring over 500 ancient statues just lounging on the seafloor like a lost civilization's art gallery. This isn't just one random wreck. These statues have been there for centuries. Deep-sea divers have been visiting them for years, but only those willing to plunge into the Caribbean's depths get to see this eerie, sunken masterpiece. Unlike some other ancient ruins lost to the sea, these sculptures weren't accidental victims of time. Some were intentionally placed there as an artificial reef, helping to rebuild marine ecosystems. So while they look like a frozen moment from an ancient past, they're actually playing a role in creating new life under the waves. Art and nature, working together in the weirdest way possible. Number 8. A 13,000-year-old human skull. Shipwrecks and sunken cities are cool, sure, but when divers stumble across perfectly preserved human remains, that's when things get truly eerie. In 2007, deep-sea explorers found something that left them speechless. A 13,000-year-old skeleton of a young girl, completely intact, resting deep off the coast of Mexico. Her remains weren't just bones scattered by time. This was a full skeleton, preserved so well that scientists were able to study her DNA, making her one of the oldest human remains ever discovered in the Americas. How did she get there? Theories suggest she may have fallen into an underwater cave that was once dry land, only for rising sea levels to seal her fate beneath the waves. Whatever happened, her discovery is rewriting history, helping scientists understand the early migration of humans across the continent. It's history's ultimate plot twist, hidden at the bottom of the sea. Number 7. Motorcycles. Ever lost something and had no idea where it went? Well, if that something was a motorcycle, chances are it's now rusting away at the bottom of the sea. Nobody knows exactly why so many motorcycles end up underwater, but we've got some solid theories. Some probably fell off cargo ships, others were likely dumped after being stolen, and a few might have even been tossed in out of sheer recklessness. And while these sunken bikes aren't tearing up highways anymore, they're still serving a purpose as homes for marine life. Barnacles, coral, and tiny sea creatures slowly take over, turning once powerful machines into strange underwater habitats. So next time you wonder where that old Harley you sold off years ago ended up, just remember, there's a good chance it's out there somewhere, covered in algae, chilling on the ocean floor like it's taking the world's longest road trip. Number 6. Egyptian tombstones. Egypt's ancient artifacts usually turn up in deserts, pyramids, and forgotten temples, not at the bottom of the sea. But that's exactly where deep-sea divers found a tombstone from the lost city of Herakleion, an ancient Egyptian settlement thought to be gone forever. For 1,200 years, Herakleion was nothing more than a legend. A once thriving city, swallowed by the sea off the coast of Egypt, lost to time and shifting tides. Then, off Abu Qir Bay, archaeologists found its remains, temples, statues, artifacts, and even entire streets frozen beneath the waves like a sunken Atlantis. This tombstone, along with countless other relics, is now on display in museums, proving that history doesn't just vanish, it just gets buried in unexpected places. Herakleion may have been lost for a millennium, but now it's resurfacing piece by piece, reminding the world that even the sea can't keep secrets forever. All right, now, let's talk about Number 5. Pollution. If this doesn't break your heart, nothing will. The ocean, a vast, stunning world that's home to millions of species, is drowning in pollution, thanks to us. Instead of treating it like the life-giving force it is, we've turned it into a trash can, dumping millions of pounds of garbage straight into the water. Scuba divers and marine explorers aren't just finding shipwrecks and lost treasures anymore. They're finding floating islands of plastic, tangled fishing nets, and chemical waste suffocating sea life. Entire ecosystems are collapsing because we can't stop throwing junk where it doesn't belong. It doesn't take a scientist to know this isn't sustainable. If we don't change, the ocean will fight back. Dead zones, vanishing species, and coastlines covered in waste. This is our mess to fix, and if we don't, we might not be around to see the consequences. Number 4. A 4th century amphora. There's old, and then there's ancient Roman shipwreck. Off the coast of Levanzo Island, Sicily, divers stumbled upon something straight out of history. A merchant vessel from the 4th century, still resting on the ocean floor like it never left. Among the artifacts pulled from the wreck, an amphora, a clay jar once used for storing food or wine, except this one wasn't just an old relic. Over centuries, coral had completely taken over, growing from the inside like the ocean had decided to reclaim it. This wreck wasn't just some broken-down boat. It was a glimpse into an era when Rome ruled the seas, when merchants sailed across the Mediterranean with cargo that sometimes never made it to shore. Nature's been using it as a canvas ever since, turning the ship's remains into an underwater time capsule. And honestly, it's a way better museum than anything on land. Number 3. Alien saucer. In 2011, a treasure hunting crew called Ocean X found something at the bottom of the Baltic Sea that had conspiracy theorists losing their minds. A massive, perfectly round structure sitting 300 feet down, looking suspiciously like an alien spacecraft straight out of a sci-fi movie. Naturally, the internet went wild. Was it a UFO crash site? A secret Nazi bunker? Some weird leftovers from World War II? Everyone had a theory. Scientists, though, were a little less impressed, suggesting it was just an unusual rock formation, a natural quirk of the ocean floor, not some extraterrestrial relic. But here's the thing. No one has fully explained what it is. The rock itself has strange markings, weird structural patterns, and no clear geological explanation. So maybe it's just an oddly shaped pile of stone. Or maybe, just maybe, something not of this world crash-landed in the Baltic and got buried by time. Number 2. Apollo moon rocket engines. The Apollo space missions sent humans to the moon, but their first-stage rocket boosters, those got left behind, dropped straight into the ocean and forgotten. NASA assumed they were gone forever, lost to the abyss. Then, in 2012, Jeff Bezos, yes, the Amazon guy, decided to go treasure hunting. Using his own money, he led a mission to locate and recover the rocket engines that powered the Apollo program. And against all odds, he found them. After 2 years of restoration, these historic pieces of space exploration are now on display at the Museum of Flight in Seattle. Why did Bezos do it? No official reason. Some say he just wanted to, others think it was a flex only billionaires can pull off. Either way, we've got pieces of the moon landing era back on Earth, proving that even when we throw history away, someone might still fish it back up. Number 1. The mummified body. Well, it not in the deepest part, but on the up. A yacht floating aimlessly near the Philippines. No distress signals, no sign of life. Inside, sitting at his radio desk, was Manfred Fritz Bajorat, mummified, alone, and frozen in time. For years, the German sailor had been traveling the world, cutting ties with life on land. At some point, his journey simply stopped. Investigators ruled that he died of a heart attack, but the way his body was preserved was something out of a horror story. The dry ocean winds, relentless heat, and salty air naturally embalmed him, turning him into a ghostly relic of his own adventure. The eeriest part? His final message, a letter to his late wife, written before his death. 30 years we traveled the same road. Then the power of demons was stronger than the will to live. What demons? Regret? Solitude? The ocean holds 1,000 stories, and Manfred's is one we'll never fully understand. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon in the next one.